Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished member of the United States Congress, respected guest, and the Senate Chairman of the National Iranian Congress, it's an honor to have a chance to speak at this historical conference regarding the proposed draft constitution for free and democratic Iran. Iran is experiencing another revolution these days, a revolution within a revolution. As we all know, revolutions are all typically followed by vacuum powers, and these vacuums threat the nation by unhealthy competition among opposition groups, rise of the terrorist organizations, assassinations, return of the old regime's agents, and return to dictatorship. Based on these issues, the aim of my speech today is twofold. First, I would like to analyze the steps through which Iran as a nation can achieve the democracy, and then I would like to describe the alternative, those steps, and how international democratic community can help us achieve democracy. Some believe that to avoid the vacuum powers crisis, Iran as a nation should first elect a type of government in a referendum, and then an elected constituent assembly draft the new constitution. But as James Madison once implied, humans aren't angels, so we need to regulate and limit them from violating each other, including the governments. So we as a nation also can't vote an assembly without any limitation on them, and expect them to draft a constitution and limit themselves. Therefore, we need to limit them by a drafted constitution before we give them power. So, what are the alternatives? There are three alternative ways. The best is if Iranian people could put pressure on opposition groups and their leaders to come up with a agreement on next governmental structure and constitution, which can give them all and the people fair share in elections and governing the country. Their agreement can prove people that they are able to build a democratic country because they are able to tolerate their opponents. Yet, in this case, their drafted constitution should be reviewed, analyzed, and discussed, and then after a referendum come to power. In this case, at least the elite, the society's elite should be well aware of constitutional principles. The second best option is if, in case Iranian opposition couldn't come up with a mutual agreement, is that Iranian people put pressure on each of them to reveal their own ideal of governmental system in detail as a drafted constitution. These constitutions can be reviewed, debated, and discussed, and then the nation can vote for a written structure instead of just name a government type. In this case, most of Iranian people should be well aware of constitutional principles. The last and riskiest alternative is that we are going to choose to elect constituent assemblies member, monitor their drafting constitution discussions, and stand against them in case they violate people's rights or other constitutional principles. In this option requires a high percentage of people to be well aware of constitutional principles, so to lower the risk. Moreover, because the vacuum power should be filled as soon as possible, we don't have enough time to debate about it and criticize it, analyze it. The danger is that if the constitution by the assembly is not good enough for the people, and those don't have enough time or knowledge to criticize it in time, it can lead to another revolution within a newly won one. And the cost of every revolution is more blood. Iranian people has three challenges at this time: fighting Iranian government and IRGC, informing themselves, being aware of constitutional principles, and putting pressure on oppositions to come up with a mutual constitution or draft their own. For the first challenge, international community is doing the best by sanctioning the Islamic Republic and IRGC. Furthermore, a free internet to let people be in touch to each other while arranging for protests, and to let them send their voices out of Iran to any international communities can be great help, could be appreciated. And for next, we need free information flow, and using media to help public awareness on constitutional principle. So free internet and setting up some of the Persian social media programs on public awareness about constitutional principles could be a great help. Along Iranian people, democratic countries can push opposition groups to having a mutual ideal constitution or their own by recognizing the ones with such a document more reliable. To conclude, I believe that I believe the order of steps to a democratic Iran is to draft undrafted structure and constitution, and then the nation vote to approve it. There could be different ways to come up with such a constitution. First, putting pressure on opposition to come up with a mutual ideal. Second, put pressure on them to reveal their own drafted constitution, and then people choose one, or having one drafted by an assembly. The risk increases in the latter options, and the only way to avoid future undemocratic government is to have a highly informed nation. We face three challenges, and the international democratic community can help us to fight the current regime and IRGC, to help people to know more about constitutional principles, and to help putting pressure on opposition groups to come up with agreed upon drafts. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. God bless our beloved country, Iran. Thank you.